Sorry for the interruption. Here is the figure of R.H. Whitaker. This person is R.H. Whitaker. If somewhere comes you to who is R.H. Whitaker, you cannot identify, you just know his name, but by if a photograph come in front of you, how will you identify that this person is Robert H. Whitaker, who has given 5 kingdom classification? That was I have kept this figure here in this very slide. See, he has, I have told you earlier in my part, previous part of this chapter, that the Robert H. Whitaker has divided the kingdoms into 5, and those kingdoms are here as a see here become so these kingdoms are Monera and Protista, fungi, animals and plants. So these were the ways he has used to classify the various diversity present on the earth. He has classified them on the basis of some similar characteristics and on the basis of the eukaryotic, prokaryotic cells, on the basis of thallus organization, on the basis of their mode of nutrition. He divided all the biological diversity into 5 kingdoms, and those were those were the kingdom Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. See here you can see some characteristics mentioned, but it will be more good for us if we go to the next. So we'll start with the very smallest creature on the this living earth with this, which is kingdom Monera. So here I have mentioned all the kingdom Monera, which is showing you in this very slide the figures of the various diversities of the bacteria present on the earth. So in the kingdom we'll study the diversities of bacteria present on the earth. See, the kingdom Monera contains the unicellular prokaryotic organism, and those unicellular prokaryotic organisms are what? Are bacteria. So, kingdom Monera contains the diversity of the bacteria which are present on the earth. So, on the basis of nutrition, if we see what is the basis of nutrition, what is the nutrition mode of kingdom Monera, the members of kingdom Monera, so they are autotrophic and they may be heterotrophic also. I guess you must be knowing about what is autotrophic and what is heterotrophic. So their mode may be, nutrition mode may be autotrophic and heterotrophic. They may be saprophytes, they may be parasites, they may be symbionts. Saprophytes means they are found on the dead and decaying matters. They used to take the nutrition from the dead and decaying matters, and they are referred to as saprophytes or saprophytic bacteria. And the parasites, which uses other animal as a host to take the nutrition, are said to be the parasitic bacteria. And there are some bacteria, symbiotic bacteria, and those symbiotic bacteria take the nutrition from the host, and without what we can say that without causing any damage to that host, it is mutually benefited relationship between the bacteria and the host, and those types of bacteria are referred to as symbiotic bacteria. So these were the mode of nutrition, and on the basis of mode of nutrition, they are separately classified as saprophytic bacteria, parasitic bacteria, and symbiotic bacteria. See, if we see the mode of reproduction of the members of kingdom Monera, they mostly reproduce by asexual means they do not involve any kinds of the gametic fusion. There is no gametic fusion taking place, and the cell division is the another mode of reproduction. Their cell divides continuously, and the types of bacteria are Coccus. These are Coccus are spherical in shape, Bacillus bacteria, Vibrio bacteria, which are curved in shape, Spirillum, which is spiral in shape. These are all the shapes shown here. These are the Vibrio shown here. These are the Coccus. These are the shapes of bacteria which is mentioned over here. These are all the shapes of bacteria which are mentioned. See, if I give you the example of Vibrio, so you must be knowing the bacteria which causes cholera, and that is Vibrio cholerae. Okay. See, on this basis there are several bacteria. On the basis of the shapes they have been given name Coccus, Bacillus, Vibrio and Spirillum. So this was just to tell you about what are the characteristic features, what the members of kingdom Monera exhibit, what kind of nutrition, what kind of reproduction. And these bacteria has been classified into Archaebacteria and Eukaryote. See, the diversity contains the bacterial diversity contains Archaebacteria as well as the Eubacteria, and those which are refers to as Archaebacteria, I have mentioned here Archaebacteria. These Archaebacteria, are actually the primitive, and those who has resided on the earth, which resembles the first life forms that have, when the life has appeared on the earth, and those bacteria has came during that period of time, are refers to as Archaebacteria. Okay, and these bacteria have the capacity to live under extreme conditions, and therefore they are also said to be extremophiles. See, here I have mentioned extremophiles. Extremophiles means they can live here under some extreme conditions also. So on the basis of extremities, these are classified as thermophilic bacteria, halophilic bacteria, acidophilic bacteria, alkalophilic and methanogenic bacteria. So thermophiles are the situation of extreme temperature. Thermophiles are the conditions where the temperature extremity takes place, and those bacteria which dwell there in that extreme temperatures are referred to as thermophilic bacteria. And when the bacteria have their habitat in the salty region, they are referred to as halophiles, and when they have lives in a region which is very much acidic, surrounding is very much acidic, then there is refers to as acidic bacteria or acidophilic bacteria more properly. And now comes alkaliphiles, means the region or surrounding where the bacteria resides is actually basic in nature, and those which resides bacteria there are referred to as alkalophilic bacteria. Similarly, methanogenic bacteria are also which lives where the methane gas is produced. It can be found in the biogas also. Biogas, your gobar biogas or gobar gas, it contains that what gas it releases? It releases methane gas, na? So there is a kind of a respiration takes place during that, and those respirations is because of the methanogenic bacteria, which releases the gas which is known as methane gas. So this is the methanogenic bacteria, and these are extreme kinds of the bacteria which can reside under some extremities. So on that basis, if there comes in what is the halophilic bacteria. So those which lives under the salty conditions are referred to as halophilic bacteria. This is all about the Archaebacteria, means those which have came on the earth, means those bacteria which are primitive in the nature. Now comes here Eubacteria. Eubacteria, as the name says, they are the true bacteria, means they are if we talk about the diversity of the monerans only, means if we talk about the diversity of bacteria only, so the Eubacteria contains the largest group. Eubacteria means that those true bacteria are present in enormous amount in comparison to the Archaebacteria. That's why the first point indicates here, the very first point indicates here that they are the largest group of monerans, and the majority of the bacteria are of Eubacteria types. Most are decomposers, heterotrophs and saprophytes, means most of them are decomposers, mean they whatever the materials are being decomposed, they used to dwell there and decompose that very material. Either that material is made of protein, made up of carbohydrates and some other biomolecules. So these biomolecules degradation or decomposition takes place by these Eubacteria, and they are heterotrophs. Saprophytes, already known to you what are these saprophytic and heterotrophic means. And some of the Eubacteria are found to be photosynthetic, like cyanobacteria or chemosynthetic bacteria. Cyanobacteria means they undergoes kind of photosynthesis takes place, means they undergo photosystem 1, they perform the photosystem 1 undergoes, then these are the these are also refers to as this also comes under the I guess blue green algae. Blue green algae also refers to as the cyanobacteria, as they are algae, so they'll perform the process known as photosynthesis. So this was all about the Archaebacteria, Eubacteria. The main thing you have to remember is the difference between what is Archae and what is the Eubacteria. See, we talk about the kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista, as I have shown you in this very slides, the figures of various protist means various protozoans, diatomaceous algae, which comes under the diversity of Protista. So this is Paramecium, this is paramecium, this is euglena, this is paramecium, this is some kind of this is what I can say, um, amoeba. See, this is all I have mentioned here are diatomaceous algae. This is Gauniliax, which is a diatomaceous algae, produces red tides. So this is all about the diversity of kingdom Protista, and let's see the characteristic features of kingdom members of kingdom Protista. These are also eukaryotic with the nucleus. Cells are present with the nucleus, means they have the organelles also. Unicellular and multicellular diversities may be they contain, means the diversity of the unicellular as well as multicellular members. They are autotrophics, may be heterotrophic also. Their variation in movement show various types of movement. Previously you have seen the sedentary type of situations on kingdom Monerans, but here you can find this movement. There is variation in the movement. Some of them perform by gliding movements through cilia, flagella. They have a several types of the I can say that organelles, motile organelles for the movement, or the organelles which are required for the movement. So on that very basis they have cilia, they have flagella, they have a single ciliates. So these are all the this all provides the variation in their movement, and they contains the diversity of both plants and animals. I have already told you some diatomaceous algae, and those algae are placed in the kingdom Plantae. So it is said to be that they contain some of the plants which are very some of the plants which are thalloid plant bodies, means they are simply your algae, which is Gauniliax, which comes under diatomaceous algae, and the animal characteristics are also shown in the kingdom Protista. So we'll study about their mode of reproduction is mostly asexual, and by the fission, they binary fission, and in all they have same types, so some have some types of sexual reproduction also that takes place. See, the kingdom Protista have been divided into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. See, these up to three, these chrysophytes up to, sorry, euglenoids, they are what? They are photosynthetic protist, means they have the characteristics of plants. They have the characteristics of plants, and if you come to see, they have the saprophytic protist. See, these somewhat possess the characteristics of animal characters. They have the some characteristics of animals. Got it? So these are the bases. They have been divided into several like chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. These protozoans are predators, or mostly they are parasitic, and the slime molds are the saprophytic protist, which means they are found to be dwelling on the dead and the decaying matters. Euglenoids. If I talk about euglenoids, these euglenoids are freshwater organisms that are found in the stagnant water, and they are surrounded by the protein-rich layer which is known as the pellicle. Previously you have seen the layer is made up of the silica, now the layer has been made up of what? Pellicle. So euglenoids are the freshwater organisms that are found in the mostly in the stagnant water, means the water that is do not show any kind of the flow. They remain stagnant, means they remain there for a long time. So in that you will find the euglenoid euglenoid are found in that very fresh water, and their wall layer is made up of the protein rich layer which is refers to as pellicle, and they have one short flagella and one long flagella. They can behave as an autotrophic as well as heterotrophic organism. For example, euglena. Okay. Euglena, which shows some characteristics of the plants also. See, and the other character, last characters of euglenoids, that most of the euglenoids have chloroplast, so they can synthesize their own foods, and there is a food material which is found in the euglenoids are paramylon. So this is the, here I have shown you the figure of euglenoids, and these paramylon reserve food material is very much important, and this is to be remembered by you. Slime molds. If we talk about the slime molds, they are saprophytic in nature, and they can be found under favorable conditions. They form the aggregates, means they are found in the colonies. You can never find them as single. They are found in the aggregates which is known as plasmodium, and these plasmodium produces these spores. These spores during unfavorable conditions, they form some fruiting bodies which is refers to as the spores, and they possess the true cell walls. They are extremely resistant to adverse conditions, means the adverse conditions cannot affect them. They still survive in those resistant extremities. See the protozoan like protist if we talk about, they are heterotrophs. All the protozoans they are all heterotrophic in nature, and they can live as a predators as well as the parasites. And on the basis there are four major types of the protozoans found. First is the amoeboid protozoans, which is found in the freshwater, moist soil or the seawater, and they have a pseudopodia for engulfing the movement as well as for engulfing the food particles and defending them from extremities. So the examples of amoeboid protozoans is amoeba, and another protozoan is flagellated protozoans, means they can be free living on the parasitic, and this group of organisms are responsible for different parasitic disease. Different parasitic disease that takes place in the human bodies like trypanosoma, which is responsible for causing the sleeping sickness. Another ciliated protozoans is that they possess thousands of cilia, and the movement of the cilia helps in propelling forward. And these propelling forward or backward movements, these came from the these also helps in obtaining the food from the outside. And this example of the best example of ciliated protozoans are the paramecium. See, if we talk about the sporozoans, these sporozoans have the reproductive cells which is known as the spores, and they are mostly parasitic and they are disease causing in nature, means they are pathogenic in nature. For example, the best example of the sporozoans is Plasmodium, that causes the disease known as malaria, and their reproduction can take place by sexual as well as by asexual means, and both. So in the next slide we'll discuss about the next part of this chapter. Third part, we'll discuss the kingdom fungi and kingdom fungi, and later on also we'll discuss about the kingdom plants and kingdom animalia. Thank you.